Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling.
The lights hit before the sound even arrived, and in that moment, the entire arena in Macau felt like it had stopped breathing. Thousands of voices rose together as if the night itself had cracked open, spilling emotion into every corner of the venue. Cameras captured the surface, the glitter, the movement, the perfectly timed applause, but what they could not fully capture was the feeling spreading quietly beneath it all. Something about this night felt different, as if every performance carried an invisible weight that no one had spoken about out loud. Zhao Luzi stepped into that space with a calm presence that immediately shifted the atmosphere. It was not just a performance beginning, it felt like a story already in motion before the first note even landed. And while the crowd saw the brilliance under the spotlight, whispers online began to form around something else entirely. Something subtle, something almost hidden, just beyond the reach of the cameras. In a world where every second is usually exposed, this night seemed to protect a secret of its own, and that mystery was enough to keep millions watching, wondering what they might have missed when the lights were brightest. Macau that evening was more than a concert venue. It became a living wave of emotion, where every movement on stage echoed through the crowd like a shared heartbeat. Zhao Luzi's appearance carried a kind of quiet intensity, the kind that does not demand attention, but naturally receives it. Her presence was steady, her expressions controlled, yet deeply expressive, as if she was balancing both the weight of expectation and the freedom of artistry at the same time. Beside her, Dylan Wong contributed to a rhythm of interaction that felt natural and composed, a professional harmony that allowed the stage to feel balanced rather than overwhelming. Nothing appeared forced, nothing felt out of place, and yet audiences online began replaying clips again and again, searching for something they could not quite define. It was not just about the choreography or the vocals, it was about the atmosphere, the emotional clarity that seemed to pass between moments like an unspoken conversation. As the performance continued, the energy inside the arena began to evolve. What started as excitement slowly transformed into something more immersive, almost reflective. Fans were not just reacting anymore, they were absorbing. Social media platforms lit up in real time, filled with short clips, emotional comments, and fragmented impressions of what people believed they were witnessing. Some described the atmosphere as unusually calm for such a large-scale production. Others focused on the sense of emotional grounding that seemed to surround the performers. And then, almost quietly, a different narrative began to surface among online discussions. It was not part of the official show, it was not highlighted on stage, but it lived in the gaps between moments, in the timing of posts, in the subtle tone of certain reactions. People began to wonder if there was more happening behind the visible performance, something not meant to be center stage, something personal rather than public. According to circulating discussions and fan observations shared across platforms, there were quiet suggestions that emotional support played a role behind the scenes that night. Without any formal confirmation, and without drawing attention away from the main performance, fans began to interpret certain details differently, reading between moments rather than relying on direct statements. In this interpretation, the presence of support, whether near or distant, became part of the emotional framework that surrounded the event. Liu Yuning's name began appearing in these conversations, not as an announced figure on stage, but as a presence fans believed might have offered encouragement in a quieter, more private way. These ideas were not presented as fact, but as emotional readings of behavior, timing, and tone, reflecting how audiences often connect dots in the absence of visible explanation. What made this narrative resonate was not certainty, but sensitivity. The idea that someone could support from behind the scenes without stepping into the spotlight created a contrast that many found unexpectedly moving. In an industry where visibility is often mistaken for importance, the thought of quiet presence carried its own kind of strength. Fans began reframing the entire performance through this lens, seeing confidence on stage not just as individual resilience, but as something possibly reinforced by unseen reassurance. Whether or not every interpretation was accurate, the emotional impact was undeniable. It reflected a broader truth about performance itself, that what audiences see is often only the final layer of a much deeper emotional structure. As the night progressed, the stage moments took on a layered meaning. Zhao Luzi's composure, once seen simply as professionalism, began to be viewed as emotional stability under pressure. Her ability to remain present, to maintain expression and connection, felt even more significant when considered alongside the possibility of unseen encouragement. Dylan Wang's steady participation added balance to the performance, reinforcing the sense of collaboration rather than competition. Together, the stage became a space defined not by dominance, but by harmony, where each performer contributed to a shared emotional rhythm. This subtle unity was what viewers continued to talk about long after the live broadcast ended. Online reactions continued to evolve as more clips circulated. Instead of focusing solely on spectacle, many viewers began reflecting on the feeling the performance left behind. Words like calm, grounded, and sincere appeared repeatedly in comment sections. Some viewers described an unexpected emotional comfort in watching the stage unfold, as if the performance offered something beyond entertainment, something closer to reassurance. Others noted how rare it felt to witness a large-scale event that did not rely on chaos or controversy to remain memorable. Instead, it lingered through tone, atmosphere, and emotional suggestion. In the days that followed, discussions did not escalate into conflict or dramatic debate. Instead, they softened into appreciation. Whether people believed in the behind-the-scenes interpretations or not, there was a shared recognition that the night carried a different kind of energy. Media commentary reflected this shift as well, focusing less on sensational framing and more on themes of professionalism, emotional intelligence, and respect within performance culture. It became less about what was proven and more about what was felt. As the moment continued to circulate, one idea remained at the center of it all. The most powerful aspects of performance are not always the ones that can be seen directly. Sometimes they exist in preparation, in reassurance, in silent understanding between people who choose not to make everything visible. Whether on stage or behind it, whether acknowledged or simply felt, these layers form the emotional foundation of what audiences ultimately experience. And perhaps that is why this night in Macau continues to be remembered, not only for the brilliance under the lights, but for everything that seemed to exist just beyond them. A reminder that presence does not always require visibility, and that support does not always need to be spoken to be understood. In a world that often rewards noise, this story lingered because of its quietness, and in that quietness, many found something unexpectedly powerful. If you have followed this story to the end, thank you for being here with Update X 24 Hours. Your support means everything and encourages us to continue bringing you more narratives that explore the deeper side of entertainment, culture, and human connection behind the scenes. If you enjoy this kind of storytelling, consider subscribing to the channel so you never miss our latest updates. We are committed to sharing stories that go beyond the surface, stories that focus not only on events, but on the emotions and unseen layers that make them memorable. Stay with us as we continue to explore moments that shape conversations across the world. And thank you once again for watching and being part of this journey with us.